Hi, my name's Jenny and I'm a fourth year chiropractic student at the University of South Wales, and also I'm an ambassador for students here. I'm here with Sam Warburton today and I'm just going to ask him a couple of questions about his rugby career. The first one is, what was the most memorable event for you in your entire rugby career, right from when you were a child to now?
Yeah. The happiest I've been, from a results perspective, I don't have to ever think about this one. I'm sorry to any English fans out there, but when we beat England 30 points to 3 in the Six Nations, that was the best game that I've ever experienced, because the game itself was obviously amazing, the way we won, the scoreline, but it was what went on, before that. And it was the fact that it was the last game of the Six Nations and England were coming down to Wales to hopefully win the Grand Slam. We lost our first game of the campaign and everybody was writing us off. We ended up winning the next 4 games to win it. Myself personally, I didn't play in the first couple of games. I wasn't on the best form, but I played the last 3 games, and they were 3 of my better games I played for Wales, so I finished it off strong. So to put all those personal reasons and the team together, that's why it was the best win. And we also had the Lions tour as well, 2 months after, how could I forget? So that was a big game for selection for Lions tour as well. So all those reasons put together as well, that was my best game I played in.
Okay. How does your training preparation change kind of day to day from a game where you've got a regional weekend or an international campaign?
International campaigns, they're quite different, the schedules. It's more difficult with club, because when it's international it's pretty regular. You play Saturday to Saturday, so you can figure out a schedule where you have a Sunday off, you have Monday, Tuesday in, Wednesday off, Thursday, Friday, and you play, and that's pretty consistent each week, and it's quite similar what we do. But with your club, the Blues, you might play one Sunday and play the following Friday, so it's quite difficult. So we've only got 4 full days in between games, then you have to change your schedule quite a bit. So it purely depends on how often the game is. Sometimes you might play on a Friday and play a week Sunday, so you get 9 days off. So between games, then you can do a little bit more training, have a couple of extra days off middle of the week and stuff. So club level, it's a lot more on your toes. Things change every week. It's very difficult to figure out what you're doing. International campaigns, because there's a certain amount of fixtures, they're always on Saturdays, it's a lot easier to work out your schedule. So it purely depends on the turnaround really, which the games are.
Okay. So in a normal week for you, what proportion of your daily activities are tailored around rugby, and how much time do you get to completely switch off and unwind from it?
So rugby, yeah, that's in rugby. Like I think at professional level, it's not just the hours you train; it's a lifestyle as well. So it's making sure you go home, but you got to then, you've technically finished work when you go home at 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Then you still got to eat healthy and go to bed at the right time, or you can't go, doing too much physical activity, doing something else because you have to rest the next day. So it's kind of like, it's a lifestyle. You have to sort of be on thinking about what you're doing constantly throughout the whole day, throughout the whole week. But typically on a day where you might train Monday, Tuesday, you'll be in say 8 till 4 on average both days. Wednesday will be off, and I'll make sure if that's off, then I am doing nothing to do with rugby. I'd end up walking the dog up in the mountain or something, go see all my family, and then normally all your other stuff then you'll cram into the days you're training. So when you have your days off, you can just switch off from rugby completely. Then you're happy mentally going back into rugby on the Thursday, because you've had that day off. So I think days off are really important. You've got to utilise them as best as you can.
Okay. What's the most important skill that you think you've developed from being a child playing rugby to now?
Good question. I think communication actually. There's always, people always talk about rugby like loads of little lessons you could learn. I haven't really thought about this, but just off the top of my head now, probably communication. I used to be a really quiet and shy kid. I wasn't very sociable. I think part of that reason was because I got a twin brother, and I grew up with a twin. And with that then, you've always got someone on tap to play with or to chat to, so you don't really need to, say if I grew up on my own, you'd have to go out and play with the other friends, always going to be in the house bored all day. Because I had a twin, I think that sort of made me unsociable in a strange way, because we always had each other. But I think playing rugby then, we obviously split up then, we played rugby, went off in our own different directions. And I think it's just helped me communicate with other people. I never thought I'd be a captain if I look back 10 years ago. I always thought I was way too quiet, never really spoke to anyone. I was just very sort of individual and just focused on myself. But I think being able to work in a team and communicate with other players, I guess without even knowing, I probably developed those qualities over the last 10 years from playing, and perhaps more so in the last 3 years since I've been named captain of Wales, because you have to. but I guess it's really developed my communication skills.
How does it make you feel to be captain of Wales when you lead your team out onto the pitch?
I mean, I absolutely love it. I think I've done it 30 times now, I think. And I can't believe, it only still feels really fresh to me. I still feel, when I walk out in the stadium, I'm still nervous about leading the team out, but I love it at the same time. And I have to see the little kid mascot who's about 6 or 7 years old, and then I worry about what he's going through, and I have to sort of calm him down. So never mind what he's thinking. But I think it's amazing. I never take it for granted playing for Wales. I always treat each game like it could be my last. You never know when you're going to pick up a career-ending injury, or you're going to miss out on some lose form or whatever. But I remember when I was a kid and I used to watch Wales at Millennium Stadium. I was with my brother, and we were like 12 or 13, and we were like, how lucky would you be to manage to run out in this and play in front of the stadium? And then with the click of my fingers, it's like 15, 13 years have gone by and I'm doing it, and I just, I really do appreciate it. I never take it for granted.
Is there a pivotal point in your career where from a child you suddenly thought, actually, I am capable of playing for Wales?
When I was 15, and Wales 16s was the year after, and I had a coach tell me, I was playing Carl Schools in the 15s, so I was like 14 or 15 at the time, and I was playing quite well that year, and he told me, I remember he said, if you keep playing the way you are, you'll play for Wales in the 16s next year. I remember thinking, no chance. When you think of all the, like, you got Cardiff, Swansea, Bridgend, Newport, North Wales, West Wales, Mid Wales, you put all them together, I'm like, I'm never going to be anywhere near that team. Next season came, I trained like stink all summer because I wanted to get in the Wales 16s team. That was the first sort of schoolboy honours you can get. And I got on the Wales 16s team. I was in the first team I started and stuff. And that gave me so much confidence. And I sort of compared myself to everyone else. I remember thinking, I reckon I can, I was better than a lot of these guys, or I can kick on again and get in the academy and stuff. But that gave me a huge amount of confidence. That coach telling me he thought I was good enough. Then I trained for that summer because he said, if you train hard, you'll be good enough to play. And I kind of, hard work paid off then, and I sort of proved myself right, really. So I was really pleased with that coach and giving me that confidence initially to go for it. And once you got there then, that you realise that if you work as hard or as hard as anyone else, you've got the ability to go quite far.
What's the most important thing that anyone has ever said to you that you've taken through your career?
It's a bit of a... there's one guy, when I was asked to be captain for Wales, I didn't want to do it. And I said to him, I'm not going to be captain for Wales, I hate captaincy. This is where I was going back to, I was quite quiet and shy and stuff. I said, I hate it, I couldn't think of anything worse, I'm not going to do it. And somehow he twisted my arm and he made me do the captaincy. And I think that was, if I had said no, it would have closed so many doors and for so many different things, but I'm so glad I did that. I thought I was nowhere near captaincy material. I was like, he should be captain, or he should be captain, he'd be much better than me. But if I hadn't taken the captaincy, I think I'd be sat here now absolutely kicking myself. Would have missed out on so many opportunities, and the things I've gone through have been amazing. And you do go through a bit more pressure as a captain, but then when you do win and you go through successful times, then it makes that a bit more enjoyable. So I didn't believe myself at all when it came to captaincy, but really glad that I took the plunge. I went completely out of my comfort zone, which is what I'm not normally used to. You do have a tendency you want to stay in your comfort zone, but if you want to achieve, sometimes you just got to go outside of that and push yourself. So really glad that I did it, and now 3 years later I really enjoy it.
What would be your advice to the future Sam Warburtons of the world who are 12, 13 now and thinking, oh, maybe one day I could play for Wales?
Yeah.
What would you say to them?
I've seen kids who playing with, I used to play with them coming up when I was like a teenager or in school, and they were probably better than me from a talent perspective. They had more talent than I did. But I just think I worked harder than all of them, and I was more committed and dedicated than all them. And I remember turning up to school when I was like 15, and I realised that honey sandwiches weren't necessarily a good thing. So I used to start taking tuna sandwiches to school and eating tins of tuna and meat and protein shakes, and my diet I started looking at, my training. I didn't drink, all these sorts of things, and they all seem like, to a normal kid, they might seem like quite big sacrifices, but for the ultimate goal, for playing for Wales and for the Millennium Stadium, they're relatively small sacrifices to make, really, to achieve that. So making sure that you have those professional habits and train harder than everyone else and stay motivated and determined and always believe in yourself. That's what I tell any kid wanting to play for Wales.
Okay, thanks very much for taking the time to talk to me. Good luck with
Thank you very
the
much.
season.
Thank you very much.